Before beginning the pre-trip, assure that you have a properly placed wheel chock and that you have the keys to the vehicle with you. When approaching the vehicle, you will check for leaks on the ground and any leaning left or right to indicate potential problems. Clearance lights. Check that the lights are clean and clear and not cracked, broken, or damaged. They should be amber in color. Note, some lights are the new LED lights and the lenses may be clear but they light up amber. Windshield. Check that the windshield is properly mounted and does not have any cracks bigger than a dime. No illegal stickers that obstruct the driver's view, and the seals are intact and not leaking. Headlights, turn signals, and reflectors. The headlight has high and low beams. They should be clean, clear, not cracked or damaged, and clear in color. Turn signal left, right, and four-way flashers should be clean, clear, not cracked or damaged, and amber in color. Reflectors, clean, clear, not broken or damaged, and amber in color. Fender mirror should be properly mounted to the vehicle. It should not be broken or damaged, and lens is clean and clear, free of stickers or damage that can impair the driver's view. Engine compartment. After you finish with the hood mirrors, it's now time to open the hood. You should unlock the latches, and using a 3-point contact on the front of the truck, pull the hood open. Before opening the hood, announce "all clear" to make sure no one gets hurt. Move to the passenger side of the engine compartment. Coolant tank. Properly mounted, no missing bolts, not broken, damaged, and not leaking. Hoses are not cut, frayed, blistered, and not leaking. Coolant cap secured and not leaking. Sight glass used to check that the fluid is at the proper level is not leaking. If the fluid is not present in the glass, you would add at the coolant cap. Alternator. Wires not loose, broken, cracked, or damaged. Alternator properly mounted. No missing bolts and not damaged. Look on front. Is it belt driven? Belt should not be cut, frayed, or damaged and has no more than 3/4 inch of play or movement. Water pump. Located below the alternator. Properly mounted, no missing bolts, not broken or damaged, and not leaking. Is it belt or gear driven? Hoses not cut, cracked, or damaged, and not leaking. Belt is not cut, frayed, or damaged, and has no more than 3/4 inch of play. Move to the driver's side of the engine compartment. Oil dipstick. Used for checking the proper oil level in the engine. Pull out the dipstick, wipe it with a rag, and replace it in the tube. Pull back out and check that oil is within the full marks. If no oil is present on the stick, you would add 1 gallon at a time in the fill tube. Air compressor. Located on the driver's side of the engine behind the oil fill tube. Properly mounted, no missing bolts, not broken or damaged, and not leaking. Look to front of compressor. Is it belt or gear driven? Metal lines not cracked, broken, and are not leaking. Steering rod. Properly mounted, no missing parts, no more than 20 degrees of play in the rotation. Has 2 steering knuckles or joints on each end, not broken, damaged, or any debris in the joint. Power steering reservoir. Properly mounted, not cracked, broken, or damaged, and not leaking. Use the gauge on the side to check fluid level. Cap not broken or damaged, not leaking. Hoses not cut, cracked, or damaged, and not leaking. Power steering pump. Located under the air compressor, properly mounted, not broken or damaged. No missing bolts, not leaking. Look to the front of the pump. Is it belt or gear driven? Hoses not cracked, damaged, and not leaking. Power steering gearbox, properly mounted and secure with no missing bolts, not broken or damaged, and not leaking. Hoses properly connected, not cut, damaged, and not leaking. Pitman arm, properly mounted, no missing bolts, not bent, broken, or damaged. Drag link, properly mounted, no missing bolts, not bent, broken, or damaged, secured on both ends with castle nuts and cotter pins. Leaf springs, spring hangers, shocks, and U-bolts. Leaf spring hangers, front and rear, properly mounted, no missing bolts, not broken or damaged. Leaf springs properly mounted, not broken, damaged, or shifted. U-bolts, properly mounted, no loose or missing nuts, not broken or damaged. Shocks, properly mounted, not bent or broken, not leaking. Brake chamber, brake hose, push rod, and slack adjuster. Brake hose not cut, torn, or blistered, and not leaking. Brake chamber properly mounted, not broken or damaged, properly banded, and not leaking. Slack adjuster not broken or damaged, and no missing hardware. Push rod not bent, broken, or damaged, travels no more than 1 inch when pulled with the brakes released. Brake drum and linings. Brake drum not broken or damaged, no cracks more than 1/2 way across surface, no grease, oil, or debris. Brake linings not cracked, broken, or damaged, as no less than 1/4 inch thickness, free of grease, oil, or debris. Front steer tires. Tire evenly worn, no less than 4/32 tire tread, no cuts, blisters, or abrasions, seated firmly on the rim and not leaking, inflated to 100 psi or manufacturer's specs. Rims, lug nuts, and valve stems. Valve stem not broken or damaged and is not leaking. It is metal and sealed with a metal cap. Rims properly mounted, not bent, broken, or damaged, and no illegal welds. Lug nuts all present, none missing, no rust trail indicating looseness, no shiny threads indicating a cross thread. Hub seal. Hub seal properly mounted, no loose bolts, and not leaking. Check the fluid level with the sight glass or by removing plug and feeling for oil. Move to the driver's door area. Mirror, properly mounted to the vehicle, not cracked, broken, or damaged. No illegal stickers obstructing the view. Door. Handle moves freely and not broken or damaged. Hinges, none missing, broken, or damaged. Seals are not cut, damaged, and not leaking. Steps, properly mounted, no missing or loose bolts, no debris such as snow or ice, supports driver's weight. Catwalk, properly mounted, no loose or missing bolts, no debris such as snow or ice, it will hold the driver's weight. Fuel tanks and caps, properly mounted with no missing or loose bolts, properly banded, and protective rubber not missing. It is not cracked, dented, and is not leaking. Cap properly mounted, not damaged or missing, and it too is not leaking. Exhaust system, properly mounted and secured, not broken or damaged, no excessive soot trails indicating a leak. Frame and cross members. Frame is not bent, cracked, or damaged. It has no illegal welds. All bolts present and not loose. Cross members not bent, broken, or damaged. No illegal welds. Drive shaft and universal joints. Properly mounted, not cracked, bent, broken, or damaged. No illegal welds. Universal joints. 2. Not broken or damaged. No missing nuts and no debris in them. Electrical plug at tractor. Properly connected, not bent, broken, or damaged. no missing pins inside, and no debris, and it is locked securely in the socket. Airline connection at tractor, properly mounted, not bent, broken, or damaged, not leaking. Air and electrical lines not touching the catwalk, not dry rotted, cracked, frayed airlines not leaking. Airlines at trailer properly connected, not bent, broken, or damaged, not leaking. Electrical connection properly mounted, not bent, broken, or damaged. Pins inside not broken, damaged, and no debris. Back of the cab, lights and reflectors. Working lights clean and clear, not cracked, broken, or damaged, and they are white in color. Reflective tape properly mounted, not cut, ripped, or damaged, and it too is white in color. Lead hands properly seated, and the seals are not cracked, dry rotted, and are not leaking. Mud flaps properly mounted and secured, not ripped, torn, or broken. Lights clean and clear, not cracked, broken, or damaged. Turn, stop, tail lights red in color. Reverse lights will be white in color. Reflective tape is red and white in color and is properly mounted and not ripped, torn, or missing. Spring mounts properly mounted and secure, no missing or loose bolts. Leaf springs and U-bolts. Leaf springs not cracked, broken, or damaged. They are not shifted. U-bolts properly mounted, not broke, damaged, or loose. No missing nuts. Airbag mount properly mounted and secure, and no missing or loose bolts. Airbag not damaged and not leaking. Shocks properly mounted, not broken or damaged, and not leaking. Brake hose not cut, frayed, damaged, and not leaking. Brake chamber properly mounted and banded, not cracked, broken, or damaged, and not leaking. Slack adjuster properly mounted, no missing bolts, and not damaged. Push rod not bent, broken, or damaged. Will not travel further than 1 inch when pulled with the brakes released. Brake drum and linings. Brake drum properly mounted, and there are no visible cracks covering more than 1/2 the brake area. No dirt, oil, or grease inside. Brake linings not cracked, damaged, or any dirt, oil, or grease on them. The linings have no less than 1/4 inch thickness. Tires evenly worn, both match, no less than 2 30-seconds tire tread. No cuts, blisters, or abrasions. Seated firmly on the rim and not leaking. Inflated to 100 psi or manufacturer's specs. Check using a truck tire gauge. Rims, lug nuts, and valve stems. Rims properly mounted, not bent, broken, or damaged, and no illegal welds. Lug nuts all present, none missing. No rust trails indicating looseness, no shiny threads indicating a cross thread. Axle seal properly mounted, no loose bolts, and not leaking. Valve stem not broken or damaged, and it is not leaking. It is metal and sealed with a metal cap. Fifth wheel skid plate properly mounted, no missing bolts or pins, and properly greased. Release arm not broken or damaged and in the locked position. Mounting bolts intact and none missing, loose or cross-threaded. Platform properly mounted on the slide rail, not broken or damaged, no missing bolts or pins. Locking jaws locked securely around the kingpin, no damage or debris. Kingpin properly mounted, not bent, broken, or damaged. Apron not cracked or damaged and free of illegal welds. No gap between fifth wheel, skid plate, and apron. Make sure there's distance between the back of the tractor and the landing gear for proper turning clearance. Bulkhead and clearance lights. Bulkhead not damaged, no missing rivets. If any rivets missing, replace them with proper size bolts. Clearance lights up top, clean and clear, not cracked, broken, or damaged, and amber in color. Side of trailer. No holes or damage. Clearance lights up top, clean and clear, not cracked, broken, or damaged, and amber in color. Reflective tape not cut or damaged and is red and white in color. Frame not bent, broken, or damaged. Cross members not bent, broken, or damaged. Landing gear. Properly mounted and not bent, broken, or damaged. Proper clearance from the ground in the raised position. Handle secure in the cradle. Tandem release is in the locked position and all 4 pins are out and the slide is locked. Spring mounts, properly mounted and secure, no missing or loose bolts. Leaf springs not cracked, broken, or damaged. They are not shifted. Torque arm, properly mounted and not broken or damaged. U-bolts, properly mounted, not broke, damaged, or loose, no missing nut. Brake chamber, brake hoses, slack adjuster, and push rod. Brake hose, not cut, frayed, damaged, and not leaking. Brake chamber properly mounted and banded, not cracked, broken, or damaged, and not leaking. Slack adjuster properly mounted, no missing bolts, and not damaged. Push rod not bent, broken, or damaged. Will not travel further than 1 inch when pulled with the brakes released. Brake drum and linings. Brake drum properly mounted and there are no visible cracks covering more than 1/2 the brake area. No dirt, oil, or grease inside. Brake linings not cracked, damaged, or any dirt, oil, or grease on them. The linings have no less than 1/4 inch thickness. Tires, evenly worn, both match, no less than 2 30-seconds tire tread. Spacers properly mounted and not shifted. There is no debris between the rims. No cuts, blisters, or abrasions. Seated firmly on the rim and not leaking. Rims properly mounted, not bent, broken, or damaged, and no illegal welds. Lug nuts, all present, none missing. No rust trails indicating looseness, no shiny threads indicating a cross thread. Hub seal. Hub seal properly mounted, no loose bolts, and not leaking. Check the fluid level with the sight glass or by removing plug and feeling for oil. Valve stem not broken or damaged and is not leaking. It is metal and sealed with a metal cap. Mud flaps properly mounted and secured, not ripped, torn, or broken. Rear of trailer. Lights, stop, turn, tail, and 4 ways, clean and clear, not cracked or damaged, and red in color. Rear door properly mounted and not broken or damaged. Hinges not broken or damaged and no missing bolt. Handles secure in the cradle and working properly. Climbing into cab. Climb in with 3 points of contact facing the tractor. When you sit down and put on your seat belt, check it for cuts, abrasions, or dry rot and that it latches and unlatches properly. Check that you have a minimum 10 BC fire extinguisher, fully charged with an up-to-date inspection sticker and safety pin in place. Check that you have 3 reflective triangles that are not damaged and stored properly. Check that you have 6 spare fuses properly stored. Safe start. Make sure the transmission is in neutral, the parking brakes are set, and the clutch is pressed all the way down. Turn the key to the on position and let the instruments stop cycling. Start the engine. Gauges. All gauges properly mounted and secured, not cracked, bent, or broken, no missing hardware. Oil pressure gauge should read between 20 to 45 psi of pressure. Voltmeter should read between 12 and 14 volt. Temperature gauge should be at or rising to its normal range of 180 to 210 degrees. Air gauges. Air gauges should be at or rising to their normal range of 100 to 140 psi. Lighting indicators. Check the indicators for left and right turn signals and four-way flashers. Turn on the headlights and check the indicator for high, low beam headlights. Heater and defroster. Turn on the heater and defroster and check that air flows to the footwell and onto the windshield. Windshield wipers properly mounted and secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. No missing hardware. No dry rot or frays, and making full contact with the windshield when running. Washer sprays fluid onto the windshield. Windshield and mirrors. Windshield mounted securely, not cracked, not dirty, and no illegal stickers. Rubber seals should not be cut, dry rotted, or frayed, and not leaking. Mirrors should be mounted securely, not cracked or dirty, no illegal stickers, and adjusted properly for you to use. Push in both the yellow and red brake valves. Wait for the initial pressure drop. Turn the engine off and put the key in the on position without restarting the engine. Leak rate test. With the brake pedal firmly applied, the air system should not lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute. Be sure to count the full minute while checking unless told to stop by the examiner. Low pressure warning check. Fan air from the system with the brake pedal until the low pressure warning light and or buzzer activate at or before the system drops below 60 psi. Point this out to the examiner. Emergency brake valve check. Continue to fan air out of the system until both the red and yellow valves close, pop out, at between 20 to 45 psi. Do not touch them. Inform the examiner that they have popped out. Parking brake check. Restart the engine and build air pressure to governor cutout between 120 and 140 psi. Apply, pull out the yellow tractor parking brake valve and release, push in, the red trailer parking valve. Place the transmission in a low gear and tug against the tractor parking brake to assure that it holds. Release, push in, the yellow valve, tractor parking brake. Place the transmission in a low gear and tug against the trailer parking brake to assure that it holds. Place the transmission in neutral. Exit the cab and remove the wheel chocks. Enter the cab, put on your seat belt. Service brake check. Release. Push in both red and yellow valves. Place the transmission in a low gear and move forward at about 5 miles per hour. Firmly apply the brake pedal and clutch together. The vehicle should stop without noise or pulling to either side. With the vehicle still in the low gear, move forward at about 5 miles per hour. Press the clutch and pull the trailer hand valve if vehicle so equipped. If not, skip this check. The vehicle should stop with no noise or pulling to either side. External light check. Examiner will ask you to perform an external light operations check. At this time, you will ask them to help you check the lights. You will need to take the examiner around the vehicle and ask them to ensure all lights are properly working. Remember to point out all lights on both tractor and trailer and name all the functions of each different light. Then you will get in the truck, turn on the lights, and perform all light functions for the examiner who is still outside of the vehicle. On the front of the vehicle, check left and right turn signals and four-way flashers. Check the headlights, high beam and low beam. On the rear of the tractor, check the left and right hand turn signals, four-way flashers, and brake lights. On the rear of the trailer, check the left and right hand turn signal, four-way flashers, and brake lights.